So this is not necessary. I've never seen this written in an ancient textbook. It's hinted at, it's talked about, but one of my old teachers, a couple of them kind of consciously talked about this theory of natural medicine. And one of the overarching theories about what we're trying to do, this is also why we learn to not be hard on ourselves and not get too frustrated with where we're at, is that most people, when they're going through their life journey, right? Life looks like this. This is baseline, right? A lot of downs, ups, downs, ups, downs, ups, right? Or we might look something like this, right? Really bad, right? Teenage years, right? Or something. So that's how we're all doing. But what we're trying to do in holistic medicine and in natural medicine is we're trying to create, we call that a sine wave. Is that the right mathematical term? I think I remember. A sine wave that doesn't have super big amplitude or swings, right? We're trying to stay closer to this idea of balance, right? But I hope you're learning we don't hardly ever get to perfect balance. We get to what we call relative balance, which would be these points that kind of intersect, like great days. We go above. Days we're a little bit below, we might not feel totally optimal, but we're kind of through all the tools we're learning. This would be the same for counseling, right? You're gaining knowledge about yourself, your family history, your psychology. So your emotional life also learns to do this, right? But we're not always just perfectly in the neutral zone, right? So this is the same thing as this, right? In Chinese medicine, this is analogous to this. Okay. So it's a really simple concept, but it's really overarching. I think the first time somebody drew it on a board, like I got it a little bit, made more sense. So this is what we're trying to do with ourselves, our family, our friends, people we're trying to help, hopefully society, right? Trying to help them avoid these constant ups and downs of health swings, psychological swings, life swings, right? So we can be just more balanced, smooth, steady, right?
I sent you the article that in regards to the yin yang,
Mm-hmm.
that they discovered that quantum entanglement visualized
Mm-hmm.
looks just like the
Mm-hmm.
yin yang. And so they're showing,
Mm-hmm.
they're quite amazed that like how did the ancient
Mm-hmm.
Chinese come up with this symbol when we're just now visualizing it on a scientific level.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really all about balance, right?
And it's basically is reflecting two particles on opposite sides of the universe,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it was a fabulous article.
So that's going to tie in with our next mini topic. So keep coming back to that here in a second. So this is one application of this theory is relative balance, right? Perfect. Remember, this is also your spine. So left and right side, the spine, left and right side of the brain, everything's in balance, right? That's why in Tai Chi, do everything this way and do everything this way. Both sides, you have to get bilateral, right? Okay. Everybody get this? Does this help? Like this kind of, you know, as a big picture thing, but it's a really important concept that through all of our healthy eating and diet, we stay fairly close to balance. We don't deviate as much. And hopefully when we do, it's more of a smoother, good phase, maybe dip a little bit instead of these just dramatic crashes, peaks, crash, peak, crash, right? So it's good. Questions on it? Other?
It's like measure your glucose.
A lot of people that are diabetic, we hope they're like this, right? Too. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, she's saying a lot of diabetics, their blood sugars look like this. But we hope, right? People are hovering around that healthy range, maybe some highs and lows, but yeah, not so dramatic. Just remember, everything has to compensate, right? Remember the Constitution, right? If you get to a high peak, it's still saying, okay, resources are going here and here and here, right? And then when you hit a really big valley, it's trying to mobilize the resources, it's trying to save resources, mobilize resources. So, by being more in a so-called balanced state or relatively balanced without such dramatic ups and downs, the constitution has to use less energy. Psychologically too, right? That means our subconscious is less likely to sabotage our life, right? If you're right, your shadow side is just kind of like, oh, it's not so bad, right? It's going to be less likely to throw up a dramatic test for us or challenge or create something. Okay. Um, just a little mini thing to think about. It helps me. I actually explain this to patients a lot who seem to really get a lot out of it, especially when people feel like they're not making progress or they're so far away from where they want to be, but you can tell their diet and lifestyle and health, like you can tell everything's improving. They're starting to move towards this, but because they haven't achieved some specific health goal, like maybe they're not off of thyroid medication yet, right? They feel like they're not making progress. So this is good to just remind ourselves and people we're helping. Okay. What are we going to call this theory? I don't know. It's a good, cool, old-fashioned name for this. Balance, something with balance in it. Sine wave balance theory. Like that. Okay. What was it? Waves of life. I like that. That's good. That sounds very poetic. Okay.